let's have a little talk. As you can see, fall is falling, which means here in upstate New York, the car season is probably one weekend away from being done. So we're going to take this one little orange car for a rip, drive it about 30, 40 minutes back to the garage where I'm going to keep it stored, and talk about why the car culture is what it is, why it sucks right now, and what we can do to try to fix this. So let's have a little cold start. Shut the garage, and time to hopefully not die because the roads are wet, but we'll be fine. All right, so to start off, I've been into cars since probably I've been old enough to drive or even think about cars. So I'm 32, getting ready to be what feels like 55, and this car's low. And I'm just tired of seeing some of these things that are going on in the car culture. For one, Dragy is ruining street racing. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, we'll say, the whole rest of racing history before Dragy came out, if you're on the street, you got your car, you know what it runs. The element of surprise for others is what it is. There's no data showing everybody else. You can just go out and run. You would also go to meets and meet up with people that have builds that you have no idea what they run. You could have, back in the day, Dodge Neon SRT4, and people thought that was hot shit because it really was hot shit back then. And it was fast, and it was feared, but it wasn't crazy fast. And you might have had a C5 and not really known. You might have been like, I don't know, like maybe he's got a big turbo, maybe he doesn't. I don't really know what it runs in the quarter. Like, let's just go race. And that's what was fun, was just line it up, man. I don't care what it has. I just want to go have fun. I just want to race. Now, with Dragy, people won't run unless they know your Dragy number. Why? I don't know. It's stupid. The point of racing is the thrill of thinking you're either going to win or lose. Why would you want to know that you're going to win going into a race? That's just clout chasing, and that ties into what else I'm going to talk about in this video, and I just hate Dragy for that. But I will say, Dragy is a great tool for those that use it correctly. If you're in the middle of nowhere, you have no strips near you, and you want to see what your car can run, absolutely buy a Dragy, absolutely see what it can do. Because if not, then you're never really going to know, and then you're going to go off of other people's and you won't. It's just, that's where it's more useful for me. That's what I think, at least. And also where Dragy really is kind of bad is where you run say I take my car and I go with street tires like 10-1. That's not going to happen unless I really know how to drive. But if you have a Dragy, you're going to see that 1/10 of a second and be like, is it because the satellites are low? Maybe I do run a 10-0. Maybe I'll go try again. And then you're just going to keep going and going and asking your tuner for more and more timing or more and more boost, and eventually probably blow yourself up because you wanted 1/10 of a second. It's not that big of a deal. You want that 10th? Go to the drag strip, throw a set of radials on, and you're probably going to get it if you launch correctly. But on Dragy, you're just going to keep mentally thinking to yourself, I can go out on the street day by day and do these pulls and never hit it, and then you're probably going to blow your car up because you're going to chase something that is really not that big of a deal. So Dragy in general, like I said, great tool. I have one. I know my numbers. I'm not very public to strangers about it. Like, the people that I'm cool with know, but I don't want the thrill of me winning or losing going away because I know that this car I ran runs 1/10 faster. And also with that, Dragy is heavily dependent on your car's performance in certain weather aspects. So people will think they have a 5.9 60 to 130 because they ran one glory run when it's 29 degrees out and the DA is negative 67. But in all reality, their car's probably a 6.3, and they just don't know it because they only try to go for glory runs. And then they'll run a car that runs a 6.0 consistently in bad weather and lose and not understand. So do yourself a favor, buy one, run your numbers, whatever it is, be happy with it. Unless you are just like psychotic and need more and more and more. That if that's what your car is, that's what it's putting out, that's what it is. Don't let Dragy ruin what your car is and how it performs, because it's probably good 99% of the time. Now my next topic, which is probably going to be kind of obvious, but social media. Social media is destroying lives. It's destroying, maybe I should go into gear. It's destroying what people think is a lot of power. It's destroying what people think are good cars and what aren't. It's destroying a lot of that. It's making people think they can get famous because someone on YouTube who's putting in work and making videos is famous, and they think they can do one race video and like blow up overnight. That's not the case. Sorry, this car just sounds so good. I'm just gonna put it plain and simple. If you don't think that 500 horsepower is a lot of power to the normal car enthusiast, you're so wrong. Not every Corvette is going to make 1,000 horsepower. Not every 2J makes 2,000 horsepower. And not every Coyote makes 1,000 with one ESS kit. That's just not the way it works. There's a lot of stuff that people hide that they also do, and they'll just say, oh, it's supercharger fuel. And that's it. And then people will go on social media and think, oh, I can do that. And then they'll go out and they'll finance a Gen 3 Mustang with a 10R, think they can make 1,000, buy an ESS kit, ask for a Lund tune, and then get pissed when their trans blows. Because they don't know the guy that just made $1,000 is probably on his third trans. That's just not shown. So social media, with that way, you need to take with a grain of salt. A lot of it can be true. I don't really post fake things. Like whatever I make, and that's it. So a lot of my videos you can, take and probably achieve. But there's a lot of other people on social media that are just not going to say everything. Another thing that social media is kind of doing is creating a very hateful community. Back in the day, if you were into cars and you saw another car at the gas station, it didn't matter really if it was like an extreme piece of shit or whatnot. You still were like cool with the guy. Now, if you own a B58 and you see a VR30 at the gas station, you immediately think like, fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. He doesn't like the B58. B58 is the GOAT. But that VR, could be on alpha turbos and smoke the hell out of you and then humble you real fast. And then you go online and then you ask why on the forums you just lost to a VR, and then you look even dumber. So social media in that aspect as well is very annoying. And it's also ruining a lot of cars because of the people that own them. For example, who owns this kind of car? A Hellcat, JLT intake, straight pipes, VMS rears, stock fronts. People in that community all own that car, but that car is still great. A Hellcat is what it is because of the power it makes, because of how it sounds, and anyone that has a brain would buy one. But the community is making it to where if you are not part of that and you buy one, you become a part of that, then you look down upon, and you kind of screw yourself. So social media also in that aspect is annoying, at least to me. And the newest thing is admitting guilt. You put racing videos online, cops aren't dumb. You know what I mean? They're gonna go on your page. They're gonna be like, oh, look at this guy. He's been racing a lot. Oh, there's his license plate. Well, he lives here. Here's a video of him racing someone. Let's go get a warrant, or let's bust this guy. So me, I don't really try to put a lot of that online. Like right now, I'm only doing 30 miles an hour, and that's all I'm doing. So keep a lot of that stuff to yourself, man. And with that kind of ties into something else that I don't really see anymore, and I am going to try to bring back this next season, is gatekeeping. Look at what's happening to all these big meets, like Gatlinburg, or H2O. All those used to be super good, not very low-key, but enough that it didn't get ruined and the city loved it. And the youngins came over with their social media and their little, 100 subscriber YouTube accounts, and they take over gas stations and all that kind of stuff, and it ruined it. They don't have it anymore. Gatekeeping needs to come back. People need to just not tell everybody where the meet is, not tell everybody what mods they got. Just keep things to yourself or to you and your homies. It will make people want to be better in turn, because they don't feel the need that they're accepted in every community already because they just go to every meet. Gatekeeping needs to come back. Plus, with gatekeeping, you make better friends because you know that the people you're friends with aren't fuckheads and aren't going to go and ruin things, not going to go and tell others about meets that are going on, and it just makes your inner circle that much better. Plus, gives you a little bit of an advantage, because then only your friends really know what's going on with your car. And then back to my point with social media and all that, you can go drive on the road like I am right now, pull up to someone and just smack them, and the other people just won't know what to do. They'll see a C6 and then they'll go to ask me, and then I'm just going to gatekeep the things I did because I want to win every single time. But to my next point with that, affirming. I'm what you would say probably traditional from nowadays. I don't buy anything unless I can pretty much buy it twice, with the exception of a house. But having a car, like a C6 Z06, I know that these valves could drop right now as I'm talking to you. And if that did, I really hope that doesn't happen, but it could. But if it does happen, I have enough money saved up that I can just go buy another motor and not have a ton of downtime. Everybody that's out here that's financing at 19 years old an X3M, throwing downpipes on it, shipping out their ECU, bringing it back, and then blowing it up because they didn't mix their fuel right, is just ruining a lot of things, because then they'll assume that the car that they had was a piece of shit and BMWs are pieces of shit, all because you were too broke to mod your car the right way or have enough, because something is going to happen to it eventually, to fix it the right way. So affirming in general, I'm just not a huge fan of. I never harp on it. I just don't do it. If you want a car and you want to be able to mod it, buy something cheaper. Buy a C5 for 12 grand and then have cheaper insurance. Don't go out and buy super expensive stuff and then affirm parts. And then while your car is down, because you don't have enough money to fix it, you're still paying for it. You're just digging yourself a deep hole. So just be smart about the cars you mod. If you can't afford it, don't buy it yet, but let it motivate you to eventually get there one day. Now, with all this breaking the car culture, what do you think is a good way to fix it? Because what I think is not going to be the same as what everybody else thinks, but I just think we need to be kind to one another, especially new people trying to come in, because they'll get a lot of bashful hate, be like, oh, you can't buy this, you got to do that. If someone has an idea and they want to go for it, let them go for it and guide them to the best you can, and try not to be a complete asshole about it. That most of the time will encourage people to be better within the car community and will make your experience as an enthusiast that little bit better. Grace goes a long way. Unless they're just completely ignorant, then you can just tell them to go pretty much fuck off. Can I do a little poll? This car, man. Oh my god, I love this car. Going 65 miles an hour in a 65 is just, it's just heaven. It's just heaven. But what I just did is pretty much what it's all about, man. Just have fun with your cars, be respectful, don't be an ass, ask correct questions, do your research before asking questions, because a lot of the time you can solve your problems with a simple Google search. But if you can't, the off chance you need some advice, say you got a C6, C5, something like that, you can always DM me. I am very open with my DMs. I try to help people as much as I can to a certain extent, because there is some things I like to keep to myself. But there's a lot of other influencers that don't do that. And if I, for the off chance for some reason, do say blow up or something, I'm still going to do my best to try to be as respectful as I can to the community, because I was one of you. You know what I mean? At one point, I didn't know anything. I had a 91 Honda Accord with a single cam F22, and I thought it was the coolest sounding car, and then people hated on it, and I just, I loved it. I didn't really care what others thought. So with that, I'm going to go drive the rest of this. We have about, 10 more minutes of a drive, so I'm just going to listen to some music. I'll be right back. Well, back home. Well, not home, but where I keep my car, which I'm going to gatekeep because I don't want people taking my car. So, yeah. But my radar detector saved me, I think, twice. There's a steady on 2 highways, so get one of those too. So yeah, we're back. Stay tuned this winter still. I don't know how often I'm going to upload, but I will be eventually taking my heads off, because these have probably about 20,000 miles on them now. So I would love to get those off, get all the guides redone, get new valve springs, have them be fresh for next year. Maybe port the MSD. I don't really know. Possibly. So refurbished heads, ported MSD. If I'm down there, I might as well do the cam. If I'm doing the cam, I might as well do the lifters. We'll see. Comment down below what you think the car community should be doing. And try to be nice to one another. Vitamin C out.